Look at your phone for a second. Scroll through your camera roll. What do you see? Selfies? Food pictures? Or hundreds of photos of a creature that isn't human? Now look around the world. Dog strollers, cat birthday parties, people saying, proudly, "I don't want kids, I have my dog." Some people laugh at this. They say it's childish. They say it's pretend. But it's not. Your brain doesn't know the difference. When you look at your pet and feel that rush of love, your body releases the same chemicals it releases when a parent looks at their child. This isn't symbolism. This isn't exaggeration. Biologically, it's the same response. We're not just pet owners anymore. We're parents to a different species. So why is this happening now? Is it just because they're cute? Or is it because we're lonely? The real answer goes much deeper. We treat pets like children because they give us something human children never can. A love that never grows up, never judges, and never leaves. Today, we're going to break down why your brain treats them like children, why that's actually a sign of high emotional intelligence, and why this relationship may be the most honest one you'll ever have. The forever child. Here's the uncomfortable truth about human parenting. Your job is to raise someone who will eventually leave you. You teach them to walk so they can walk away. You teach them to speak so they can argue with you. You raise them to become independent adults who won't need you anymore. That's the goal. But a pet? A pet never leaves. For people with a deep fear of abandonment, for people who need to feel needed, a pet is the perfect emotional solution. They won't move out. They won't forget to call. They won't replace you with another life. They stay in the toddler phase forever. They always need you. They always want you nearby. They always depend on you. That creates something powerful, permanent safety. The relationship doesn't evolve into distance. It doesn't change into conflict. It's frozen in time. A bond protected from the pain of growing apart. Why they're overwhelmingly cute. Have you ever felt an urge to squeeze your pet? Or bite them? Or laugh because the feeling is too much? That's called cute aggression. It's your brain trying to regulate an overload of love. And here's why it happens. Humans are biologically programmed to protect babies. Big eyes, round faces, small noses, clumsy movements. That's called the baby schema. Human children grow out of it. Pets don't. Dogs, cats, rabbits, they're designed to stay in a permanent baby state. So when you look at them, your brain releases oxytocin, the same hormone that bonds a mother to her newborn. If we scanned your brain while you looked into your pet's eyes, the pattern would be nearly identical to a parent looking at their child. So when you call yourself their mom or dad, you're not role-playing. You're describing a chemical reality. Your brain already decided. Why this says something about you. Society loves lazy explanations. The crazy cat lady, the couple filling a void. But here's the truth. People who treat pets like children are often high-capacity nurturers. You have excess caregiving energy. You're the one who checks if everyone got home safe. You remember birthdays. You worry. And for millennials and Gen Z, this goes even deeper. The world is expensive. The future feels unstable. Traditional milestones feel unreachable. But the instinct to nurture doesn't disappear. It needs somewhere to go. So it goes to the pet, not as a failure, as an alternative, a form of family that fits modern life. Control in a chaotic world. There's another layer here, and it's uncomfortable. Control. Raising humans is unpredictable. You can do everything right and still lose control. But with a pet, you choose their food, their routine, their world. For people whose lives feel chaotic, caring for a pet becomes grounding. A small world you can protect, a life you can keep safe. The 3 types of pet parents. Not all pet parents are the same. The guardian. Highly empathetic. Highly anxious. Your pet is your external heart. The soulmate. Deep bonder. Introverted. Your pet is where you take the mask off. The healer. You rescue them. And in saving them, you're saving yourself. The inner child repair. This is the most important part. The way you talk to your pet. Good job. You're safe. I've got you. Is that how you were spoken to? If not, you're repairing. Every toy heals something old. Every comfort during thunder heals a memory. Every act of care breaks a cycle. You're proving you can be the parent you needed. Why the grief is so heavy. This is why loss hurts so deeply. Because the brain doesn't lose a pet. It loses a child, a routine, a source of oxytocin, a witness to your private life. And when society minimizes that pain, the grief becomes heavier. If this is you, your pain is valid. The bigger picture. Family is evolving. It's no longer about survival. It's about connection. If you treat your pet like your child, you're not strange. You're emotionally advanced. You understand that love, not biology, defines family. So buy the sweater, cook the chicken, use the silly voice. Loving deeply in a hard world is never a mistake. And if you know exactly what this video is talking about, hit like. Because sometimes family isn't about blood. It's about who's waiting at the door when you come home.